Hello everyone and welcome to Talk Together. Thank you for joining us for this evening of talking about Dungeons and Dragons and other D words.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. No, just
like, Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. If we go into like diners, dashing, no.
Dinosaurs.
We could talk about dinosaurs.
Talk about dinosaurs.
We could do it. So, my name is Tom. I am the self-proclaimed Question Lord, and I'm going to be host for tonight, and I am delighted to be talking with M. Wave at M.
Sorry, I didn't realise this was a physical show.
No, you could just sort of wave. So, yes, so we'll be asking some questions. There'll be some anecdotes. I almost said antidotes. There might be some antidotes. Maybe we get bitten by dinosaurs. Who knows?
We'll antidote to your sadness. That's what we are this evening.
Oh, we should just get that on a poster. So yes, how do we decide what appears? My light is flashing. I'm going to change that as something.
Oh my god!
Just
Tom's at a rave.
Well, I've had so many conversations with people where I've been on a train that a lot of people assume that I live on a train, and I was like, you can't prove that I don't. Yes. So basically, how do we decide what questions? Very simple. It's the dice. It's the click-clack math rocks that we love so. These ones are metallic, so we're going to hear some crunching, but there's going to be strobing and there's going to be crunching. So yes, it's unlikely, but the stream should last about an hour, and we are sponsored by Hero Forge.
I'm very good at being on time, Tom.
Yes, you are. You are a good influence, and maybe some people, myself included, could learn from that. As this introduction goes into its 10th hour. So yes, we're sponsored by Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, Phoenix Dice, Alchemy RPG, and we are supported by Elder Champions, D&D Beyond, Warriors of Waterdeep, get those gems, Neverwinter, and Elderwood Academy. And we are Roll Together RPG on pretty much all social media. Not yet TikTok, but who knows? Maybe we'll do some dancing.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, if you make things on TikTok, what will inevitably happen is that everyone will just watch them on Instagram.
Yes, actually, that's a very good point. Having been on both, and then just like, they're getting the views. Yes, and so we're also very grateful for our D20 Club on Patreon. Please join us for one of your local amounts. I think someone said 1 gold piece. If you could give us gold pieces, that much appreciated.
We will take it.
We are
gold.
Gold.
Solid gold. We'll have it.
Yes, so much has been going on in the world. If we go back on the gold standard, wouldn't be that surprising.
So are you saying, Tom, don't give us your gold pieces?
Ooh. No. Well, I'm saying gold standard, but also saying there's a bit of us liking to be pirates, and as pirates, you like being able to actually touch the treasure and just going, arr. Well, we'll get to space pirates in a moment, but... in conclusion, podcasts. What are most podcasts? Roll Together RPG. Just give us a nice review. Right, so consulting the clock, that was 10 years. Okay, so, as I said, delighted to be joined by M. I thought I'd say anything you want us to know about you after nearly a year's worth of content, M. Any little secrets?
I'm not sure I have any secrets necessarily. Like, hi, I'm Emma. I play with Roll Together. DM for Roll Together. I also have a life. Maybe I just play for Roll Together and that's it.
That's it. I mean, what more do you need? Who needs to go outside? For me saying earlier, like, the weather. Like, we don't look outside. We worry about the light condition. That's our main concern. That's all we need. As both of us prepare for a terrible English summer, where we're just like,
it's going to be too hot.
It's going to be too hot, and we're just not...
I feel like, unless you've lived in England, when English people are like, it's going to be too hot, and then you're like, oh, but it's only 30 degrees. Like, no, but we have no air conditioning. Like, there is no air conditioning.
That is the big thing. Like, I was talking to an American friend who's like, I just like being able to wear summer dresses. And I was like, you can wear summer dresses. It's like, no, because then it will rain. I was like, well, then bring a jacket. It was like, no, but then you don't have air conditioning. I was like, yeah, we make some interesting choices. We're not prepared for sun, we're not prepared for snow. We're just ill-prepared for so many things. Audience, take that however you like. I'm just talking about the weather. I'm just talking about the weather. Any hoodles, let's get to it. Okay, chat, you know what to say. Post that emoji. Let's roll
that dice.
And we start with number 4. Both of us not knowing what questions you've been asked before. Let's find out. Who would you like to have at your gaming table?
Oh, I did answer this last time. Last time I answered with fictional characters.
Oh,
so I can do something
real
different.
People. Yes.
Real people.
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon, I think would be fun. Then it's a subsequent list of like hot boys from the 80s. So we're talking Bruce Willis, Harrison Ford, mostly those two. Then the lady from The Mummy, Rachel Weisz.
Yes.
That's 4 of them, so that's pretty full already.
That's a good party.
I feel like we could top it off though. Who would we put in?
You've got hot lady, nice lady, hot boys. I mean, do you want...
It needs a wild card.
I was going to say you need like a chaos.
Tilda Swinton.
Are these present day versions of them, or are they from like? Are you scooping them out of like?
I feel like Reese Witherspoon is out of the 2000s. Harrison Ford and Bruce Willis are obviously when they were in their prime in the 80s, 90s, and then Tilda Swinton is ageless, so it really doesn't matter.
Tilda Swinton already knows what you're here for. You turn up and she's like, I've prepared a character. It is a war. No, I was about to say a warlock. No, it's sort of like he's a half
wizard.
Yeah, wizard. Just like I've already prepared. So Tilda Swinton's playing a wizard. What about the others? Who do you?
Reese Witherspoon is playing a cleric.
Very nice.
I think. Or maybe they'd play against type, and Reese Witherspoon would play like a super badass barbarian, which I also think would be fun. I think Harrison Ford is probably playing like a rogue.
Yeah.
I just feel like you could go fighter, but I think rogue is going to be better. And Bruce Willis is playing. I like the idea of Bruce Willis playing a warlock. I don't know why. I feel like he plays a lot of characters who would make bad choices. I've forgotten who the other person. Rachel Weisz. Fighter.
And this is Mummy era. Rachel Weisz. Strong. The thing I liked was Rachel Weisz obviously was in one of the Marvel movies, and they were talking about it, and they were like, well, we know we're going up against James Bond. Does anyone know any sort of people on James Bond? And she sort of sat there and went, oh, I'm married to James Bond. Daniel. And then she said, and then I got really shy at that point and then just started showing everyone my cat. She's like, I made a fool of myself, here's my cat. And they're like, thank you, Rachel.
Well, I'm married to James Bond.
Yeah. Oh, I'm married to James Bond.
Oh, I forgot temporarily what my husband does.
It happens.
He's only playing like the most famous male part in all of...
And I was like, oh yeah, that film that hasn't come out yet. It'd be great. We don't really talk about it, really. Just
we have a no work at home rule. Look, them's the rules.
That's quite sweet, really. And then it's just like, how was it? It's fine. Did you do some running? Yeah, I did some running.
Did your car explode? Yes.
It keeps happening, and then they're such nice cars. And I don't want to let down Q. He's Paddington, It feels bad. You're like, yeah, don't upset Paddington.
Don't let down the bear.
I'm not saying it would be a better film, but if everything's... And it's just Paddington.
It would be a better film.
Yeah. Please, Mr. Bond, please don't lose this pen. It's very special.
Please don't abandon me at the station again, sir.
Oh, no.
I was sad. I only had sandwiches.
He spent so long on that boat. And just... I think... I'm trying to remember sort of like a while ago that my sister sort of came home to see my parents and she just went, have you seen Paddington 2? And I said, no. And she's like, great, we've got an hour. And just told me the entire plot. I was like...
In an hour?
Less than an hour.
Okay,
She's like, we've got an hour. So just this sort of intense thing of like, again, it was obviously the game she was playing. Like, I'll stand up. She's like, well, we're not finished yet. So he goes to prison, and that's very upsetting. And now having seen it, it's probably one of the saddest moments in film.
No.
Yeah, Paddington going to prison.
What
Yeah,
the-
he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to go to prison.
I don't think many people deserve to go to prison, but you know, that's a very different political point.
Okay, a lot of people don't deserve it, but the sweetest and kindest of bears who has united this community, and I think is accused of stealing a book. I think that's the crime that they put Paddington away for.
Following in the footsteps of Jean Valjean, who stole but a loaf of bread.
He also broke one window pane, and that means he has to go to jail for like...
Single window pane.
Well, glass was expensive back then. Yeah.
The end of the world. If the children had not been hungry, he would have not stolen that bread.
Exactly. So, which is quite the defence. It's like, if there wasn't hunger, we wouldn't have to break the windows. And like,
Well, I mean, that's basically the entire criminal justice system, isn't it?
pretty much. You thought it was bad in 18th century France. Well, welcome to 2022. So I think the point we were making there is you're scooping people from various time periods, bringing them together.
The point we were making there, Tom, is decentralise the justice system, but
absolutely. Again, this is the great thing about the show. We just start with this and we're like, actually, we've got something to say about the justice system. Also that Tilda Swinton yet again is immortal and is prepared, to play. I mean, as you're DMing, sort of like, how long have you got any ideas of what sort of campaign you want it? Do you want it to be fun? Do you want it to be serious?
It would have to be quite badass, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure what it would be, though. I have some ideas for campaigns, but they are all like currently secrets. Secrets.
I can't even tell you, Harrison Ford. He's just like, oh, come on. You can't tell little old me. You're like, no, Harrison Ford, stop it. Which one are you, Indiana Jones or sort of Han Solo? Which version of Harrison Ford are you being at the moment? Because you're being a scamp, I can tell you that much. Yeah. Oh, Harrison. Of course, now, because he keeps flying planes and helping people when there's forest fires, and someone said it was very weird, I got trapped in a forest and there was a fire, and then suddenly Han Solo just turned up.
I think that's great. Do you think that's great?
Of all the people you want to save you, you're like, oh, look, my childhood hero is here with a plane.
My childhood hero, only slightly aged, and should he really be flying planes in forest fires? Like, is he qualified?
Yeah, the number of times he's crashed recently, we're like, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And we're not going to talk about Bruce Willis. That's also, it's getting sad. And that's why, why do I always curve into the sorrow? No, focus, happy, fine. Nutmeg is fine.
Can neither confirm nor deny Nutmeg's current status.
Yeah.
Like a Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, I think when Em was like, oh no. Don't want that. We're like, oh, it's an alternate universe. It's like, but still. Also confirmed.
But Nat killed 2 of my NPCs in one game.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, the Tarrasque kills so many others, but it's personal now.
And my favourite, Star Trail. Well, one of my favourite. I don't have a favourite NPC, but I do like Star Trail a lot.
I think, as I said, like going in, having done the stuff for Nutmeg, where I was like, I know what the animals are like. No, Star Trail, just so. And also just the wonderful thing of just Delaney not clicking quite what's happening. It's like, oh no, if he goes back, he'll be beaten to death. Stones will be thrown at him, for he's the most beautiful horse in all the universe. Oh, I miss those two. Again, we can neither confirm or deny. They're out there somewhere. Or they got eaten by a Tarrasque. Those are the two options.
Star Trail is unkillable. Star Trail's been alive for like 2,000 years at this point.
It would take more than that to kill Star Trail. Yeah.
The sad thing is going to be if Selene ever gets to level 14, I think, where as a paladin you can suddenly cast summon greater steeds, so you can have a Pegasus, but to do it you have to dismiss your current steed. Yeah.
Oh no, if that happened, that would be everything that Star Trail fought. No loyalty. Absolutely no loyalty.
To be fair, I think if I was DMing you, Star Trail's such a good character that I'd be like, Star Trail just grows wings. It's still Star Trail. You must not make this choice.
Out of grudge. Just like, woof, wings. I was like, I've had these.
You thought you were getting rid of me? No. Think again.
Just comes, nips her on the, like, ow. Bad owner. Bad. Although that said, it would add to the long list of Pegasi and unicorns that we have in the Roll Together universe. So.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's Andy, the Alicorn, who is both.
Yes.
Technically a unicorn and a Pegasus. That is the only one I can think of, but there are definitely more.
Warriors of Waterdeep unicorn turned out.
Oh, yes. Jeffrey. Some name beginning with G.
G.
I'm certain. It will be on the wiki.
You can solve the wiki. And now the wiki is like, neither Em or Tom remembered the name of Jeremiah. And we're like, oh, Jeremiah. No. Oops.
I would be impressed if that was already on there. Like, that would be like Murta levels of foresight.
Oh, well, Murta, as we've established, is very good at what she does. So again, I'm just thinking about going, did you just scry on us? Well, she's just going to ruin the entire...
I enjoyed that so much.
It's a very me thing to do, to go, oh, you did this, and you're like, yeah, Tom, that's the trick, and going, oh, sorry. I thought we were bonding on this, but I blew up your spot. Soz.
Murta really needed a bit of pushback. She's a fun character. I do have a lot of fun with Murta.
And Murta has fled. Who knows where Murta is? Murta could be anywhere.
Murta could be right behind Zeleny at all time.
Just keeping an eye on her.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, she wouldn't need to be with her to keep an eye on Zeleny. She could just scroll.
Yeah.
I feel like all the character formation antics are going to be like, we must learn non-detection. We cannot live our lives being watched all the time.
Oh, Murta's just sitting in like a back room somewhere, scrying and just going, oh, interesting. Oh, they're having breakfast. Oh no, does that get sad when then she's just like pretending she's at breakfast too? She's like, hey, with my friends. I'm a part of this. It's just what's the term when you get like a false relationship, like with a podcast or something?
Oh, social,
yeah. Psychosocial relationship.
Yes.
Just like, yeah. It's like, here with my very good friends.
Who don't all hate me.
No. Who would hate me? I'm doing it for the greater good. The greater good.
It's very important, the greater good. Like, you've just got to keep an eye on it.
You just got, because if you don't, it will just wander off, and then where will we be?
We'll be there with the lesser good. That's where we'll be, Tom.
It's like restorations. We've got greater restoration, we've got lesser. Always aim high. Right, so in a roundabout way, that is your fantasy table. You have talked about fiction. You've talked about reality, which does involve time scooping. And I think it's a great table. I think you're going to have a wonderful time, and you're also going to roll some dice.
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. That is number 16. Number 16. If you could make yourself in D&D, what would you be?
Does it as in if I was making a character for me to be in D&D, or if I was making a version of myself in D&D?
I think usually when we do this, we make the fantasy version of yourself, because we've all accepted that we would be commoners. But it's sort of if it's like Avatar, where we're transposing your mind into this perfect body, what would you want to be?
Prosperous.
That's why you built P, just to have this prepared.
Or Reek. Reek is also fun.
Reek is, again, I think the fact you've done that, where you've put it into like the existing relationships, where you're like, either you're going to be P, who has to deal with a bunch of interesting characters, or Reek, who's just like, yeah, my mum gets really angry when I go places.
Reek is a baby.
Reek is baby, yeah.
Reek is very, very young, like just old enough to leave to fly the nest. Whereas Prosperous is like a kind of settled in the world, wandering around, does their own thing most of the time, and like confident, happy person who makes really bad speeches.
And now just has to care for an egg. It's just that's.
I'm not happy about the egg.
No, I didn't think you would be. And I'm going to be completely honest. I wondered when Delaney was like, "You're changing Patreon." It was like, Shantae, go deal with this egg. I was like, you can't put that on me.
I wouldn't.
That's not fair.
I wouldn't do that to someone else. No, I think the concept is now that the shepherds are looking after the egg, so Prosperous doesn't need to be like with the egg at all times. So we can go and do other things like, kill Orcus.
Yeah. Which I think is the great thing, because I think that's where the egg was like, no, I've imprinted on you. And you're like, no, I think it's a group thing. It's like, no, but you are my carer. You're like, no.
All of them.
Have you considered Polyphone? Shepherds? Egg? You're like, you're correct. So yes, just the idea. You're like, no, I don't think that happens. I'm going off on an adventure. I've got to...
There's not a lot of fun to be had being like, well, I sit in this well now, and I look after this egg, and Prosperous isn't done. Like, the story's not done.
No. Again, it's sort of like just going, you do a Sudoku, you...
Prosperous cannot do a Sudoku.
No. Which was the difficult thing, or maybe sort of like, you've learned how to whittle. It's been really bad.
I've already learned how to whittle. That's what I did when I was under house arrest. Yeah, Prosperous learned how to whittle the sheep. There's some really bad sheep and there's better sheep. And like, depending on how early you arrived in the New Shepherds, depends on how well your whittled sheep is. Foray has the best whittled sheep. Elvis, who is now leader of the Shepherds in my head, although Chris may disagree, has the worst whittled sheep because he joined. He joined first. Well, joined, was not press ganged, but like Prosperous kind of was like, hey, you're here, you might as well train these people.
Or this sort of like, can you just hold this? Yeah, what is it? Welcome to the Shepherds. Like, oh, come on. It is press ganging. It is. It's like dropping the king's groat in the beer and like, congratulations, you've now joined the navy. It's just like, hold this cool sheep.
Prosperous wouldn't have been like, you may never leave now. Prosperous was said to Elvis like, it's fine if you do go, we'll still be friends, but please don't.
Please don't. I'll be ever so lonely.
I'll be so sad.
You don't want to make me sad. Look at me. So basically this is your insert fan fiction where you're just like, I just take over the... Or maybe it's like Quantum Leap, that P now takes over your body. You're like, hello, welcome to this world now.
Oh God, go work a desk job. To be fair, I don't think Prosperous would hate my desk job because a lot of it is about looking after people and being quite good with people. Yeah. I think P might struggle at first, but I think they'd be all right.
Have you considered maybe going, I don't know, fighting a beholder? I don't know what that is. Interesting.
Have you considered just not doing what you're doing and doing something else instead?
I'm just putting it on the table. just to try. And I'm like, no, I haven't. You're like, there you go. Meanwhile, you're just being chased by vampires down the road. You're like, this is great. Seeds everywhere.
So there's a moment in the upcoming Murkendraw where I cast Ceremony to speak to somebody. You'll see next week. And I was like, I get a mushroom out of my pocket. And I was like, okay, don't eat the mushroom, because if you eat the mushroom, you're literally just making Prosperous again. So find something else to do with the mushroom. So this will be the first character I had that did some sort of consumption during rituals was Keldon, the Mentor cleric who drank the holy water, because why wouldn't you drink the holy water? You have to use it. It has to go somewhere. And then Prosperous I made with the sunflower seeds and eats the sunflower seeds while casting Ceremony. And after about 6 months of that having existed, I turned around to Chris and was like, I did I just make the same character again? Like, they do the same. Why is this a thing for me? And then when we were recording on Tuesday, got out of smash and I was like, oh god, I've done it again.
It's already on the way to your mouth. You're like, over the shoulder.
Well, I do something else with it, but I'm not going to tell you what, because you can watch on Tuesday.
No spoilers. No spoilers. Okay, so we've established that M would basically be P. So it's a fair choice. Rather than sort of like the other ones I've done where people are like, oh, I'd be a tiefling, I'll do that. You're like, no, I've already made mine. So, like, being timely, it's like Avatar. It wasn't a thing for so many years, and now they've got a trailer. So, yeah, just take over the body. Oh, crumbs. I think I told Em this, that because I've started playing Neverwinter. Mods, put Neverwinter. Thanks, you're the best. Where they were like, you need to choose a god. And I was like, well, I'm a warlock, I don't know. Shantae. And they're like, yes, I was like, there you go. You've converted me. God.
She's the best god. I'm on a personal quest to convert more people to Shantae.
I mean, again, going back to Zelania, it's like, well, you know, it's the peace, it's the quiet one. It's like, can't really. Actually, I suppose I could just sort of like going, yeah, just the pacifist god, secret paladin. Secret paladin.
So, Prosperous and Reek. So when I was making Reek, so we made Reek really short notice because I joined that campaign very last minute to replace someone who had to step out. And I made Reek. Chris and I made the mini. This was at like midnight the night before we were recording. The next day, I woke up and turned to Chris and went, oh shit, I've made another blue paladin. Because Prosperous is not my first blue paladin. I have another blue paladin that I play in a home game. Then there's Prosperous, who is also blue. And then I made Reek, who is also blue. So that I currently have 3 blue paladins on the go. Unintentionally. It's getting a bit awkward.
I was going to say, one more and you kind of have a party of the blue paladins.
Oh no, it'd be horrific.
Again, is it a blue tiefling? Is it like a sea elf? You know, whatever. Or it's just someone who's just wearing like a blue tabard. It's like, hello.
Blue gang. I'm a Smurf.
I'll just paint myself. Like, choices were made. They weren't bad choices. They're strong choices. So hey, you go off. You and a paladin. Like, I don't know.
Spiked, no, I'm a commoner, but I'm blue.
I'm hoping that the bugbears will take pity on me and not hit me. Like, again, a choice. A choice is being made here. Oh, poor Smurf. F in the chat, please, for our poor dead commoner. It's not dead yet.
In a party with 4 paladins, nobody's dying.
No, fine. Yeah, no.
Nobody's dying.
But would you heal, or is it your usual thing of just going, if you don't get hit, you're not going to need healing?
To be fair, the fastest way to reduce the damage that your party takes is to kill the thing, right? I stand by that. That is genuinely the best way to do it. It's just kill or disable the thing. However, Reek heals. Desi, my home game paladin, heals. Prosperous will heal if it's absolutely necessary. So yeah. They all the paladins I play would prefer to just whack things, but if necessary, they can. It's
the same thing like when people are playing clerics. You're like, I'm not just going to heal. I've got other things I can do. You're like, but if you could heal.
I think I always have the thing where like if I play a cleric, I'm committing to healing. Like if I'm going to play that class, which I love clerics. I'm going to commit to being the person who heals everyone and does the best job of healing and is like the super healer. And then I get really pissed off. This is a deeply personal thing, Tom. You're about to see. Okay. Are you ready? I get really pissed off when people are like, yeah, I killed it. I'm like, fuck off. You would have died. We killed it together, all 5 of us.
Teamwork. Well, at least when we're doing stuff on the stream, we're not just doing XP stuff where it's like, yeah, you get the XP for killing, and like, you would have died. You would be in its mouth by now if it wasn't for me. Or I saw someone who said they wanted to make a cleric, which is basically like the American Health Service, where it just comes over and goes, hello, that'll be 40 gold if you want healing.
Oh god, that's awful.
You want resurrection? Cool. Can I just talk to your provider? just see, you've got insurance, right?
Did you get the resurrection package?
Yeah.
Just need to check. I do feel bad making fun of that, given that we are not in America and do not have to live with the American healthcare system.
No, it's yeah. Yes, I a couple of weeks ago helped with a stream raising money for funds for abortion clinics, and then it was just the thing where I was like, hello, white British man here. Everything's great. I'm just playing a silly character. And they're like, then now we need to talk about the real stuff. I'm like, yeah, we need to talk about the real stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, this is like where we're like, hey, we're just talking about the weather here. Hey, things could get really bad here if certain things happen, right? Right? We all know. We're not going to let that happen, but because we all voted, right? Yeah, good. Sorry, I was about to say we're apolitical here. We're absolutely not. No.
We're not apolitical. No, we have our views.
And if you don't like them,
go away.
Yeah, I was just going to leave that. And if you don't like them, you can leave. But as you're leaving, we shall roll that dice. Like, I'm just leaving. I'm like, interesting. Number 6. How did you start playing TTRPGs?
So a few years ago, I was dating someone who had a home game with friends. He didn't DM it, but his friend was DMing it, and they were looking for people to join. So I was like, well, fine, I'll come along. I'm sure it'll be fine. I was like, oh no, I love this. I love this so deeply. I played a very a rogue, an arcane trickster rogue, which is the worst class, but when you're new, it's exciting. And an arcane trickster rogue with the dungeon delver feat, which was actually really handy. And she was a half-elf who had a tragic backstory where her parents had been split across time. It was great. I had a great time. So that was how I got into it. And then I have not stopped since. Then started dealing my own game. Then I joined up forces with Chris. And yeah, it's good times.
And now look at you. Look at all the blue paladins and all the stories.
All the blue paladins, all the chaos. Yep.
Those are the two pillars of your creation. I mean, that's a very simple story there, So like sometimes people are like, oh well, I did this and I went to there. You're like, nope, went to it, enjoyed it, and now it's everything. It's not everything, but it's a lot of my time goes on D&D, which is great. I really enjoy it. Like, it's a nice way to spend time with friends. It is. It's just.
I do have like normal friends who do not understand.
Why do you want normal friends? What do you talk about if it's not about like
knitting, Tom? I talked to them about knitting.
Oh, knitting nerds, right? Just the crossover of these two groups where you're like, there's some, there'll be some people who get it, but then like the two sides just go, I spent £100 on dice. I spent £100 on wool. We're not compatible. I was about to be almost very patronising. Like, well done for you for having other hobbies. Well done.
I have many other hobbies, Tom. I have a lot of hobbies. They all involve sewing. They all count as different hobbies because they're different types of sewing, but still, they are all independent hobbies.
You're all on different, like, little discords. You're like, this one's for the crocheters, this one's for the sewing.
You do not cross the streams, Tom. Crocheters do not understand knitters. It's a point of tension. It's once you learn one, it's very hard to learn the other. Like quilting, clothes making, embroidery, cross stitch. These are all individual, separate things, and you do not.
The thing, I say that, and you're like, the fact you said that shows your ignorance, your terrible ignorance, and your lack of understanding for the crocheting world. I'm like,
no, if you'd said my crochet needles, then you would have shown your ignorance.
Because they're hooks?
Correct, well done.
Yes. Oh. I've seen things. I've seen crochet.
I've seen things. The way they use those hooks.
Meanwhile, all my hobbies have now become work. I can't. What do you like to do? Go to the theatre? Work. Play D&D? Work. Read? Work. I just probably need to just take up something like crochet, or just. Although I
could teach you how to crochet if you like.
I've got a feeling if we went and did like a long weekend or something, where you're just like, come along. Come on, this will be your new obsession.
Come, Tom, I will show you how to make your own hats.
Yes. Oh, you will have your own scarves. You won't have to keep it. Speaking of, hey, watch out for some scarves are going to turn up, friends. Just brace yourself. Okay. I don't know, why do I always make that into a threat?
What are you doing with the scarves? How are they going to turn up?
I'm just saying that I'm going to wear some scarves on a new project. Also, I'm going to do crimes. Terrible crimes.
Are you trying to tell me that you're going to record in summer with all the doors and windows closed in scarves? That is commitment, Tom.
I was about to say I'll just like put ice in it. And I was like, no, that's a terrible idea. Get the scarf wet and just drip on your electronics. Smart boy, well done.
I have, in recordings in the past, wet a tea towel and put it on the back of my neck because it's been so hot. It's literally unbearable without.
It's a smart idea. I think, actually, I think I've been on recordings where you've done that. Where we're like, and the break, and you're like, and now time for the tea towel. Oh god! Again, it's sort of like the passing of time where we're like, great, we're coming into the summer now, and now I'm remembering us recording stuff last year, and just as it's like, even now I can feel the heat slowly. We did buy an aircon unit. I did cave and buy an aircon unit last year because we lived in a flat that was just ridiculously hot all the time, all through the summer, and I was worried about the dog. And I wanted an aircon unit. So now we have an aircon unit, but you can't have it on while you're streaming because it makes a lot of noise. It's like you have to think ahead to be like, I will turn it on for the hour before the stream and then off, but it does make it significantly more livable. Maybe I'll just go around opening all the windows and just like, let the sea air blow in. The siren song, I'm like, not now, I'm working. You never come play with us. I was like, I'll run a campaign for you, sirens. Just go down to the seesaw. That's quite sweet. You just watch like a little dice wash up on shore and you're like, so that's a 2. That's just...
Well done.
Well done.
You fall off your rock.
No. Oh. Again, I'm just picturing that. This is great, like for life stuff. It's like, yeah, Tom just went quiet and just thought about mermaids for a bit. It was very strange. Anyway, as the ocean will, let's roll that dice.
Please roll a 2 now. That would make me very happy.
It's a 10, which has 2s in it.
Boo!
Boo!
We boo the 10.
You're like, you could have lied, and I just look at you completely blankly, and like you
missed your opportunity when you were like.
I'm not gonna lie, the temptation was there. I was like, do I? Do I? What will the dice gods think?
We recently taught Ivo the card game Cheat, where you have to the only way to win is by cheating. So it's encouraged, but you call people out on it. And bless him, he's learning. And so he was like, I put down 4 4s, and like, you're cheating. You had to think about it for too long.
Or you just make it into a tick. You're like, I put down 3 2s.
I love that game. I put down 7 cards in stacks. It's great.
But then you put down 7, you say, I put down 5, and they're like, well, it's a lie, it's multiple lies there. I used to play that on Neopets many, many years ago for Neopoints, so again, when we go have our crazy weekend where I learn how to crochet, it's like, I will also play Cheat. I think some people call it shithead, but that is rude. That is a rude thing to call each other.
Shithead is a different game for me.
Really?
Yeah, in the vast world of card games. Shithead is one where you have 3 cards in front of you with 3 cards over the top of them, and you have to play through your hand, and then you get to use the cards on the bottom.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Again, it's always that thing. It's like, well, what did you call this game? Or, like, a friend of mine was talking about the this little pig went to market, thing, and it was like, and this little pig had a pickle, and they were like,
I'm not mad about it.
No, instead of like, then this little pig had none. It's like, and this little pig had roast beef, and this little pig had a pickle, and you're like, well, I'm glad the pig's getting something to eat, but also does not scan, does not, and also considering this whole company, Pickles, instantly, little thing in my brain goes, oh no, oh no.
It's an evil pickle.
It's an evil pickle. Roll together. We ruin all foods.
I mean, I named the sweetest dog we've ever had after a pickle, so...
Absolutely.
Pickle is not ruined.
No, a pickle is an utter delight, and is a sweetheart, and might turn up on a stream again. This is the thing with the dogs, they'll just appear. I do love it when chat are like, dogs! You're like, yeah, I spotted. Anyway, as I said, about
it was
8
a 10.
years... It was a 10. What do you like in a DM?
I like a lot of space to roleplay.
Yes.
I think it's really nice when people feel like they can sit and be quiet and let the players go. I also, counter to that, really like when things are starting to like peter off and DM's like, and here is a thing to go do. I think that's really nice. I like not puzzles, but like mysteries within the game to resolve. So like there's a bit of that going on with Murkendraw. Things where it's like, if you notice that thing and you can move it forward. And a lot of that is about, I don't think it's about like having a perfectly planned, here are my clues and here is what they're going to end up in. But being like, when your players are like, maybe if that means this means this, pivoting your plot slightly so it fits with what they've said, which I think is a really nice way of playing. I really don't like riddles, puzzles, anything where it's like you're no longer in character because you, the person, are trying to solve the puzzle rather than your character. Because if it's something where it's like it's a riddle, nobody at the table might know the answer, in which case you're just sat there afraid going like, well, I guess we'll just sit here forever then. Or if you're like, if you know it but you're playing a dumb character, do you say you know it because we're out of character in this point, or do you pretend that you don't know it and sit there in silence, or like go and poke some things? Like, you can have a lot of fun poking things, but it feels very out of whack for me, those kind of puzzles.
And also, if you're thinking about like in real world, it would be such a crazy world where we were just all like, by the way, here's a puzzle. It's like Professor Layton. You're like, yeah, I'd quite like to go on that boat. Interesting. Boat. That reminds me of a puzzle. You're like, oh, God, I just want to get on the boat. I want to go see New York. Interesting. So there's a pig. You're like, oh no. Yeah, but as you said, it is that difficulty of just going, well, I know this, but my character wouldn't know this. Or especially if you're playing let's say, a more intelligent character, and you're like, I don't know. But my character should know this. It's finding how to RP that and just going, I don't know. Maybe they both lie. Like, it's an option. But yeah, I think that's a good point. It's the difference between kind of like mysteries and puzzles, or sort of like being able to go, how do you want to solve this? I spider climb up the wall. You're like, there you go.
Totally valid. Or I'm going to smash down the door. Like, if we like, it's fine as long as the DM's not like, well, the door is impenetrable by axe. Like, well, all right, then I'll just sit on the floor.
I'll just die then. just lie there and just like, The door notices you're throwing a strop and opens.
To be fair, that would be quite funny.
I could imagine some of your characters just going, no. You're like, all right. Yeah, go on. More so.
I also really love like things that you have to figure out to stop combat or to like change combat. So like a good example of that is the one in Flustered where you first went into Tessia's house and the books attacked you, the stove attacked you, a little statue of a satyr paladin attacked you. And there was a password which someone just had to go find, say the password, and then it would all shut off. Because it gives characters who don't necessarily want to engage in combat something to do. They can go and do something else. It means that you're not suddenly going like, every combat, here are 500 hit points. For this combat to end, you must just work your way through all 500 hit points. It means that people start looking for other things to go and do. I really like that.
I think, again, it's a different sort of frame of mind. Similar to, like, you realise you could just run away. That's another option. Where you're just like, or just shut the door and go, no, not today, statue.
Players will never, unless you literally say to them before a combat, this is going to be too hard, run away. Players will never run away. It just won't happen. And by the time you're into the combat and 3 of them are unconscious and they're like, oh my God, we should run away, they can't because 3 people are unconscious and they can't carry them. So unless you pre-combat go like, this is going to be too hard, I'm encouraging you to run away, or have an NPC there like, we should leave, this is going to be too much, we should leave, players will never run away from a fight. The
big bad's like, I could lend you a wheelbarrow. you could just go. I'm just saying.
It's a really difficult balance. Yeah. It is. Players just... because the concept of D&D is very, core, is I put something in front of you and you whack it until it dies, and then you move on to the next thing. And there's a lot around that, but that's the very basic of it. And if you are trying to get people to not do that, you have to work really hard because you're going against everything that every version of the game they've ever played is teaching them.
I think for me personally, in this cycle, how much of it just turned into us just going, can we just talk through this? And we're like, oh, this feels different. Even in world, people are like, this shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be acting like this. And you're like, I don't know. Maybe it's just something in the water for us. 2 of us already died. We're just being chill and just going, just want to hang out with some cool animals. Now look at us, But yes, just or as a video game RPG, we just flee, just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think you should go. I think you should go. Your NPC is saying you should go.
Actually, a really good way to do that is if you can set combats up so that the point of them is that people have to leave. So rescuing someone, because once they've got them, they can go. They don't have to stay. But whatever you put behind them can be super scary because they're already going. Or ones where you have to protect someone who is weaker, because then the impetus is not to stay and battle it out to the bitter end. The impetus is to get that person out of the room. I think that's quite a nice way to do it, where you can put something massive and scary in that room because they're not. The point is not to stay there.
Just go. Just leave. Again, I felt like with the One Drop of Ancient Antics, where they've just when we nearly got completely whomped in the first thing, where it's like, we could just go. Sorry, princess. We'll just go back to the king. Go, I don't know, scary ice dragon. It's an option. I sent you on a quest, yeah, but then we got really hurt, and now ouch. So
then we left.
Then we just left, and the dragon said, "That's fine." Is the dragon going to keep attacking people? Yeah. You're going back? Yeah. Oh, what a very different campaign that would have been. Oh, great. We're going to do a 4-parter with these guys who just don't want to do anything.
4-parter of just going between the king and the dragon. But every time you go back, the king is like, did you kill it yet? And you're like, no, it hurt a lot, so we didn't. And he's like, get yourself back to that cave. Do not return. Do not return until that dragon is dead.
I mean, if that is what he said, technically, we didn't return until that dragon was dead. He's like, they haven't come back. Guess the dragon's still alive. Which was. Yeah. Oh, good times. How are we doing for time? Will I keep my badge? Yes, I'll keep my badge. We have 10 minutes. One last question.
I feel kind of obligated to try and make you run over because I have in the past made Rebecca run over, so.
Ah, yes. Yes. I suppose whatever this is going to be, you just tell,
here are all of my D&D stories. 10 minutes worth. I can do it.
I'm just going to read my notes. Would you like to know what was behind any of the doors in my campaigns? I'm like, not really. So when we started, we're just
Tom, you know me, that's not what's in my notes. My notes is you open a door and something is behind it, a specific something, and it doesn't matter which door you open, it's going to be there because I need it to be there.
That's the door. Well, I did roll that dice, and as a wonderful callback, it happened to be a 2. So I'm glad I have appeased the fabulous out there. You just hear quietly, yay!
Everyone should put pickles in chat in honour of the 2.
Just saluting the pickles there. Okay, what spell or ability would you like to have in real life?
I've answered this one before. The answer, of course, is prestidigitation.
It's a perfectly good one. I think I said mending.
Mending is also good, but like never cleaning again is just like the dream.
The thing I always find funny when we talk about it is, because obviously it's like a cube, 1 foot, just the idea of just like going, and that bit of your trousers are clean, and that bit of your trousers are clean, you're just like, boop, 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 boop. I would like to see that on film, where you're just like, someone's having a conversation, like just their shoulder goes clean, and then boop.
With the rest of them.
Yeah.
Should we do another one?
Yeah. Or this is where you're just like, well, when I said prestidigitation, I meant
I meant prestidigitation. Yeah. I'm happy with my answer.
Yeah. I have no other comments. Number 14. What's the funniest moment you have experienced in game?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's such a subjective one where you just.
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
Moments that I have enjoyed in games, the entirety of Anarchy in the Astral Sea.
Yes.
It's great and it's also very funny. I am I'm surprising myself with how creepy that ship is, which is great. I really enjoyed all of Ancient Ant. This is just going to be me saying that. I enjoyed all my campaigns, all the campaigns I've been in, all the campaigns I've DM'd. I think they're great.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with them.
I think that's fair, and I think for this question where you're like, okay, there's me as a DM and there's me as a player, and they're just various. Yes, and going back, that is one creepy ship. just the fact of like, oh, can I eat it? You're like,
we don't know. Don't know if it's good or bad. Actually, I'll tell you what. Some of my funniest moments in game have been, for me personally. I don't know how they came across to you. Poking Niall about the Eternal Army. Oh, it makes me so happy because Niall and I have like a friendly pokey. That sounds weird. Niall and I have like a friendly relationship, and poking Niall and being like, "But why, Niall? Are they so dude, bro?" Makes me just really happy.
I think this is one of the great things about you. You're very good at just being able to go, no, that sounds stupid. That I don't like. That doesn't sound like, no, but you should do what I said. No, I don't think I'm going to, though, because that sounds awful, and you sound awful. Like, no, go kill it.
What Tom's referring to, chat. Oh, I've dropped my headphone. Hang on, one sec. What Tom's referring to is when Tom ran a home game for us, which was set with like a team that was supposed to battle for this lady. And the lady came in and was like, horrible, just the worst. And then was like, oh yeah, no, I'll just leave now and you just carry on. And I was like, or I'll just kill her. And so we ended up killing like the patron of our battle team in the first like 20 minutes of the one shot. And Tom was like, well, I guess I'm rewriting this entire thing. Thanks, Emma.
I just was like, okay, I think we should have a little break. And it was chaotic and it was fun, and it was the fun of just going, I don't know what's happening now, and then just sort of like going, hey, how do you think you're going to get away with people noticing? It was like, forge a letter, say she's gone on holiday. I'm like, yeah, no, that works. And
she had stolen the skin of a Selkie. Like, it's just so rude.
You also dried the Selkie off. I think you were just like, dry, and there's like, she died, she collapses. You're like, she's just back. Yeah, no, she was rude, and no one misses her in world. No one's noticed. But yes. So when I was seeing you doing the prodding of Niall, I was like, yes, just some dude bro king is there going, no, we're gods. You're like, are you though? No.
I mean, if you call yourself that, sure, but I mean, that's basically your choice. I do it with Chris, like the Rouge Ladouche. I can't handle people being like, I am smug and superior, and I'm like, are you though?
Are you though? I think this is part of the thing I have with my characters, who weirdly all sort of become weirdly agnostic, because it's just like, these gods seem mean, and I don't think that, if they were nice, then maybe I would follow them, but now they're just coming now and threatening me, and I don't like that. Stop that. Or maybe you just need a nice god who just hangs out by a pond and is like, hey.
Eldar, Shantae, the best gods.
Shantae, yeah, just chill gods who just... Or again, like with the shepherds, like, do you talk to Shantae? You're like, yeah, often. Just have little chats. Great. Look, all D&D gods are great, but some are better than others. That's all we're saying.
And Shantae is the best. That's
where we're at. I'm sure Torm has his strong points.
Look,
but...
Torm has had his time. Torm is, every time you see a paladin in one of the books, they have the Fist of Torm on their shield. And it's like, just like, give it a rest with Torm for a while.
Also, he's busy, He doesn't want to keep popping in and going,
Got all those paladins in books to look after. I think if you play Heist of the Dragon, Horde of the Dragon Queen, not Dragon Heist, which is a different book, but Horde of the Dragon Queen, there is a group of paladins in that, and if you read that scene in the book, it's like the most dude bro-y thing you can ever imagine. You have to impress this order of paladins, and to do so you have to do it by winning like games of jousting, and the one where you have to push your arm down to the table, what's that called?
Oh, some arm wrestling. Yeah.
Arm wrestling, and like shit like that, and it's like, why? Like, 1, who wrote this? 2, why? 3, can't you just walk in and be like, we're doing something really important, please will you help us? No, not until you arm wrestle with me. You could be suspicious, but anyone who can beat me in an arm wrestle, they're not suspicious.
You must be pure of heart, because you're good at the joust. Like, yep, no knight has ever been a little bit dodge.
Pure of heart, strong of arm.
You just, for goodness sake, you just get out your holy symbol, let it light up. You're like, look, it's the fist. It's lighting up. I'm obviously, you're like, how are you a dance, though?
Just imagine them all being stood around, being like, one of us, one of us, one of us.
And then they will just start wrestling each other, and you're like, okay, so there's a lich. Can we go deal with the lich? They're like, ugh.
Cult of the Dragon? Tiamat? Maybe.
Come on, yeah. No, maybe. Just like, yeah, bro. Yeah. You're like, so glad we're here.
So glad this scene was in the book. No, I took it out when I ran out. I was like, I'm just not.
I just don't. I have no time for this. Well, because I demand small victories. That is unfortunately as much time as we're going to have. Usually I would ask, hey, do you want to plug anything? You got anything? Just is it Anarchy? Is that what?
So currently in 2 campaigns. So I'm DMing Anarchy in the Astral Sea, which is a hilarious group of grung who have stolen a mind flayer ship and are now causing bad things to happen across the Astral Sea. Or maybe saving the Astral Sea. We'll see what happens. Either way, the ship is creepy and weird, and it's great fun. I am also playing in Murkendraw, the last resort of Murkendraw Bog, which is the end of Liz, where we are slowly finding out what's happening at the last resort, solving some problems, figuring out whether the hags are good or bad. It's a whole thing.
And so that is, well, conveniently, that's Mondays 6 to 9 p.m. For Anarchy, and Tuesdays 6 to 9 p.m. for Murkendraw. And on Fridays, we are doing Talk Together at 6 o'clock. That's at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg. There should be a link to the YouTube in the chat, and we're also available as a podcast. I like how I'm almost like I'm telling you, and you're like, yeah, no. I know.
Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. I was checking on the dog, who is asleep beside me and making little like woofly noises.
Oh, adorable. Anyway, I'll let you get to your dog, because I'll simply tell you that you can be a member of our D20 club on Patreon, as we said, for £1 apiece, bring back the gold standard. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, supporters, and as we say at the end of every episode...
No. You going to say, stay arsey at the table?
Stay arsey at the table. And that is my timer buzzing. We're done. Good night. 1 hour. King of questions.